Good morning. This is Kelly Hobart from Alpaca Direct. Sorry we're a few minutes late today. We had a slow start, I guess. Either that or we simply lost track of time. You know how it is in the morning. Anyway, I was also talking to my sister. I don't get to talk to her too often, and she just got back from a 2-week vacation. I was really happy to hear that she had a great time. So here I am in the shop this morning, and we are talking about our cable channel knit along, also known as a KAL, K-A-L, which is knit along. And we are doing our finishing pieces. Now I got a little bit behind on mine because I'm wearing my Entrechat. So that was my big project for this last week. And what it is, it's by Lisa Kemery, and we have her patterns on our website now. And if you look at this up close, there's the shrug that's in the pattern, and as you can see, I'm wearing mine. And mine is a little tiny bit different. Do you see the back? So, I'll tell you what I did different, right? So, I'm trying to make a shrug, and I'm going, I would like something that's not too wild, and I like it to go with colors that I already have in my closet. And so I was knitting along, trying to figure out what I was doing as I was going along. And boy, what an adventure. Number one, most important thing that I was reminded of again was do not weave in those ends until you are completely done. Don't be like me and weave in the ends when you're tired, and then because you're too tired to knit or what have you. And then I would say, I don't like that, I want to change it. And for the life of me, I could not get it out to start over. I actually ended up having to cut it. And I almost thought I might have to start over. And anyways, so that's what I was doing on Sunday because I wanted to get the sleeve just right. And I wanted to do an I-cord bind off, you know? And I wanted to do a 3-stitch I-cord bind off, and I did that, and it looked a little bit thick, and it seemed like it was rolling. And so I'm going, So in a 3-stitch I-cord bind off, you would knit 2 and knit 2 together through the back loop. And I thought, well, maybe if I knit 2 together through the front and not twist that stitch, it might keep it from rolling. So that's what I did on my edge, and you could see that it turned out pretty good. It quit rolling as much because originally in my 3-stitch I-cord it was rolling terribly.
You got a bunch of people coming online.
Hi, good morning everyone.
Chris,
it's so nice to have
Patricia,
you with us. And
Susan.
as we're going along, don't forget to share what you're working on, maybe where you're from, and we even like to know what the weather is because right now it's finally I think it's going to get sunny and warm enough outside. When I went running yesterday, I was in sweats, and I'm normally in my running pants, but it was too cold. I was cold. So it is so nice to be able to wear our wool garments still. And I was so happy to have this shrug. Okay, so you guys, you know what? I love this yarn. This is our Sueno worsted, and it's an 80-20 blend of merino and bamboo, and it's machine washable. And my shrug I threw in the dryer as well. And so you have these beautiful colors of yarns and absolutely no itch. So if you want to make a worsted weight sweater and you want no itch, and you can actually throw it in the dryer, it can take some abuse. And this is fantastic. I'm going to make more projects with this. I love the yarn. Well, I've been using the DK weight of Sueno for I don't know how many projects, and I don't know, it's just one of my favorite yarns because it's very versatile. You can do a lot with it. It's machine washable, it's hardy, it looks good, it feels good. I mean, what's not to like about that? Plus, with the DK, I really liked it because the yardage is really good for a DK weight. The price is actually pretty good. And on this worsted weight, it has 182 yards. And it is, oh my gosh, it's just a super, super nice yarn that has a pretty nice halo to it, but I don't foresee that this yarn is going to be peeling underneath the arms or doing anything. I think it's going to be the perfect sweater yarn. And so, and like I said, I threw this in the dryer to see what it did, and it came out just the same way as when I put it in. It was perfect. So if you're looking for a sweater yarn and you need something that's not itchy, It might be a little more expensive to do a project with this yarn, but oh, it's so nice. I love it. So anyway, I was really thrilled when I used it. So what else did I do with my Entrechat? So when I was looking, you know, when I'm doing a project, and the Madam, she calls it Madam Entrechat, it's by Lisa Kemery. And when I'm doing a project, the first thing I do is I will go to Ravelry and look at all the projects that everyone has done. And then I say, what characteristics of this project do I like, and which ones do I want to change? So on this one, it seemed as if some of the ones, hers looks like it's almost too big on her. Do you see how it's kind of baggy on her? So that's what made me first realize that I wanted to maybe, what she increases right along this back in here. She'll do knit one knit front and back all the way across, and I knit two knit front and back, so I had half the increases for that. And so that I could take some bagginess out of it. Now other people's projects, right here where the button was, it was stretched. It almost like it barely fit. And I'm like, you know, I kind of want mine like a V-neck. And so what I did with mine is I crisscrossed it like this. Now I'm not completely 100% satisfied with it. I like these two buttons, how they're spread wide apart, and I kind of want to keep that button there. But what I would like to do instead is this shrug kind of wants to be up here. That edge wants to kind of go up to here. So I'm thinking that I might put that button here so it's visually attractive, but actually seam it up here, and then I would just flip it over my head. It doesn't need to really unbutton, and that way it could not be stretched, because if you look at when I'm wearing this, unless I pull it down, it wants to pucker right here. So in order to take the pucker out, I'm thinking that all I need to do is unbutton it and allow it to go where it wants to go and seam it up the way it wants to go. And that way it's more like a V-neck for me. It doesn't look stretched, and it doesn't look too big in the back. And I definitely did not want a project that had long sleeves on it, because I get warm. When I'm running around, to be able to wear a full length wool sweater is not often what I do, right, Jim?
Right.
Because I move way too fast, and I don't know if any of you are out there, but I don't know if you get warm easily, but I get warm easily and I get cold easily. So wearing a little shrug like this is just enough to keep the chill off, and I can wear it without being uncomfortable. So that is a great project, and Lisa Kemery does a great job of clearly writing out her patterns, so you can follow them. The instructions are just really, really good, and that's why I brought her on as one of our people that we're going to be using her patterns in our shop, because they're that good and they're wonderful. And so I wanted to share that with all of you.
We'll be posting links to the patterns on our site.
We'll be posting links to everything that I changed. On my sleeves, I did a cap sleeve where I did German short rows, 2 on each side. And I just wanted a little tiny sleeve, but I didn't want it to stop way up here. I didn't want it to be, you know how some sleeves, if you don't do short rows on the top part, it'll be at like an angle, kind of. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before, but I wanted to take the angle out and make it more straight across. And so that's how I accomplished that, was by doing 2 sets of German short rows on each side. And so like when we're going along and I'm talking about these different skills, and I'm showing the different skills that I'm using, I'm showing you because they're tools that you can use in your toolbox. So when you see these patterns and you go, I love the look of this pattern, but I want to change it just a little bit, you can change it because you have those tools in your toolbox, and you're taking the time to actually learn the skills. And I can't tell you how wonderful it is to have all those resources, because you have learned all those skills. And when you see a problem, you can say, oh, but that's a problem, but I know how to fix it. And so it's no longer a problem if you can fix it. So keep that in mind. For those of you who are going, I don't know if I can learn this, I would challenge you. Take the time to learn something new, because those tools will take you very far in your knitting career, and it'll make your life more enjoyable, and you'll actually be able to make things that you can wear and enjoy, and that's pretty neat. Yes, Jim?
Oh, Brenda says hi, and Martha
Brenda, good
says it's a
morning.
very cute pattern.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was fun to do. I mean, it was, I used 3 skeins, but I had quite a bit left of the 3rd skein, so it's not, doesn't take a lot of yardage, and I did this, in about 3 days, and then I tweaked it for another 3 days. So if you're just following the pattern, you should be able to do it quickly, and you don't have to be like me. Oh my gosh, this last weekend I could have conked myself on the head for being a dumb bucket, because I was causing myself so much grief. So sometimes it doesn't pay to be quite so adventuresome, right, Jim? Because then I'm like, great, now I'm stuck and I gotta finish this. But the good thing is I laughed it off, just kept working on it, and got it done. And so it was all good. But this is, if for any of you that want to make this Madame Entrechat, that little pink Entrechat that I did for Evie, that was in a previous episode.
It's for our granddaughter.
Yes, it's for our granddaughter. And it was really cute. And this adult one was a little bit harder to make it look the way I wanted to make it look. Because Evie's, I didn't change a thing. Really, I just backed up the buttonhole just a stitch or two to keep it from being, to make it more structured so it looked more stable. Oh, and I put on the back of my buttons, I do put a button on the back of it. Do you see that? And what that does, I kind of like doing that because it adds stability to the actual button band, and it makes the buttons look better. So if you ever get a chance, and I don't know if you're like me, but at home I have my little sewing box, and over the years from having Jim and my clothes, if a button falls back off, I would throw it in the button box. So I have a lot of buttons that I can use as backing and don't have to buy anything new. So that's really cool. But anyway, so that was fun. Let me just check and make sure that I covered everything that I wanted to for our adult Madame Entrechat. And so my goal for the Entrechat was to make as little changes as possible. And when I was trying to decide what my size was, I was using a number 8 needle, and I like the fabric that I was getting with the number 8 needle. So I did not want to, and I wasn't quite on gauge. I needed like 18 stitches, and I had 20 stitches for 4 inches. And so what I did is, normally I'm a size small. I chose to knit the size medium, and then I kept my number 8 needle so that I could have the fabric that I was looking for. So that turned out nice. And then actually, when I cut down the amount of increases on the back, it was actually the size, the amount of stitches that was required for a small. So it was actually to my size still. So it worked out great that way. And then, of course, I slipped the edges all along. On the other Entrechat, I slipped these edges to keep them looking really nice. And so that slip stitch edge really makes your project, it makes a difference. Those little tiny details make a huge difference in the quality of the outcome of your project. So as we're going along, and you know how picky I am. I mean, if it's not right, how many times did I rip my thing out, my Entrechat? A lot, right?
Yep.
Yes, I ripped it out a whole bunch because I was trying to mess around and get it the way I wanted it. So I'm not afraid to go back, start over, try it again, etc., until I get it the way I like it. Although, like I said, never weave in your ends until you're totally done with your project. That caused me so much grief. I thought I was going to have to start from square one. It was not good. So if you ever think that, I'm too tired to knit, I'll just weave in my ends and get that part done, don't do it. Just in case you're like me and you decide you have to take something out. It was awful. It was a nightmare. Let's see. So I crossed this front, and of course the pattern did not call for an I-cord bind off, but I really like the I-cord bind off, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute here. And So I think that was about all I changed. I didn't change too much on it, and I really, really liked it. What's that?
It's folded under there.
Yes, this is folded under just because I have it unbuttoned.
Oh, okay.
So I'll put it back on. But I'll show you how it kind of pulls in, and
I think it looks pretty nice.
it looks okay. I just don't like this pucker. I don't like the pucker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbutton it, fasten that button in place so it's visually attractive, and then let the cement under like that, let it go like that, and it should straighten out that pucker. Because we want it to be perfect so that we wear it. So anyways, but yeah, that was a really fun project. And if you're looking for a shruggy sweater type thing and don't want to have something that's super time consuming, the worsted weight yarn is fantastic. That Sueno worsted, heavenly. It's a great, great yarn. I'm really enjoying it.
I don't see Kathleen online, so we'll post after the show. We'll post the links to the pattern and the yarns and stuff.
Oh, that sounds great. Also, I wanted to go back just for 1 second and talk about this knit along from Michelle Hunter. So mine was done for a smaller pillow. I have a pillow form that I was using at home, and it still needs to be blocked. And I have the bind off. I think I'm gonna change the bind off. The bind off, it was bind off in pattern, and I used a needle that was smaller than the needle that I'd been knitting with. But I think what I want to do is bind off on the wrong sided row, because I kind of, if you look at the bind off up here at the top, I kind of like that look better than I like looking at the V stitches. So I think I'm gonna take that back out, and I didn't weave in my ends on purpose so that I can go back and do that. But do you guys see how neat the buttonholes are for the Michelle Hunter, this knit along? These buttonholes are really cool, and you can use them for all kinds of stuff. Let me show you Tara's. Hers is finished, and she did a beautiful job. Isn't that a gorgeous pillow? That's the back, and then here's the cabled side. I love this. I think this pattern would be beautiful on a sweater. I'm thinking I want to make a sweater out of this pattern. It's so pretty. And I love it with this was done with Kenzie, and it is a wonderful yarn. It's a tweed yarn with a really nice halo, and it's a blend of several different fibers, and it is fantastic. It's one of my favorite yarns. It's so soft, isn't it, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice. I love that yarn. Anyway, so I'm excited to be able to get mine done, and I'll be doing the mattress stitch, I think is what she calls for next, to get that seam together. And I've done a lot of that, so I should be able to get that done quickly. So let's go over here real quick, and I wanted to go through a couple of things. One thing that I wanted to go through that I thought was a great thing to go through for this knit along is how to do the buttonholes, how to do these buttonholes, okay? And then the other thing that I wanted to go over was on your sleeves, how to do the I-cord bind off. And so I thought that would be worth looking at. So let me just look at the I-cord bind off first, and then we're going to take a look at the buttonholes. And I'm just going to show you how to do this 3-stitch I-cord bind off, but you can do as big or small of an I-cord as you want. That doesn't really matter, but typical I-cord bind off is done with 3 stitches. And what you do is you do a knitted cast on of 3 stitches. So I would go ahead and pretend as if I'm going to knit a stitch. And some people like to twist it and put it on that way, or you can put it straight on. I think Michelle Hunter did it that way, but I'm kind of used to doing it this way. And I don't remove that right hand needle. I leave it in there and then knit another. So that's 2, and then do it one more time, and then that is 3. Okay? And then the pattern for the I-cord bind off is knit 2, and then you knit 2 together, the last cast on stitch with the next stitch next to it, through the back loop. And then you move your stitches over, And you would just repeat that. Knit 2. Let's move this. And knit 2 together. Oops. Try not to grab extra strands of yarn through the back loop. And then move it on or over. And as you can see, you are binding off one stitch at a time. Watch. Every time you bind off one more stitch, and it's making this lovely I-cord as you go. Okay? I'll show you a couple more. And I'll do another video where I show you how to actually, it's similar to doing a duplicate stitch, to take the two ends of your I-cord and attach them together, but I don't, there's not enough time to show you how to do that today. So I'll show you this one more time. So we're going to just knit 2 and then knit 2 together through the back loop. And you just keep transferring your stitches back and going on until all the stitches have been worked. And do you see how that I-cord bind off looks beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the same as the one on your right here?
Yes, except for I did a 2-stitch I-cord instead of a 3, and instead of knitting through the back loop, I knit 2 together through the front loop because I was having some curling. It was curling and it didn't look good when I had it on. So I was trying to get rid of the curling, so I decided to try just a regular knit 2 together instead of knit 2 together through the back loop, and it seemed to have solved that problem. Now on the Michelle Hunter knit along for the channel cable pillow that we have, it calls for a buttonhole, and it is a 3-stitch buttonhole, right? So we go ahead and I go to where I'm going to be working my buttonhole, and then it tells you to slip 1 with yarn in front, right? And then it says slip 1 with yarn in back. Jim, you don't have to hold it, you can just put it down.
Okay.
And then you just pass that over, and you do that 4 times. So you're slipping 1 and then passing it over, slipping 1, passing it over, and I have to do it 1 more time. Then, all right. Then it says return last bound off stitch to your left hand needle. Now turn. Using the cable cast on 5 stitches. So we have our working yarn right here, and we're going to go ahead and cast on over here using the cable cast on. We're going to cast on 5 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. After we have cast on 5 stitches, turn your work. Slip 1. On this, it says slip 1 with yarn in back from left needle. Then you pass the last cast off stitch over this stitch. Actually, you know what? This is the cast off stitch. So what I like to take this last stitch that I cast on, and you take the cast off stitch and place it over the top, and then you put that back on your needle. Snug everything up again so you don't have something funky going on. And then let me just knit a little bit so you can see what your finished buttonhole looks like. And here is your finished buttonhole. So that's pretty cool. That's a neat way to do buttonholes. I have found with my Entrechat, I didn't use huge buttons, and I found that doing the knit 2 together yarn over works just fine. But if I'm using larger buttons or these beautiful decorative buttons like what Tara has used on hers, using that 3-stitch buttonhole is a great buttonhole to use. It looks really polished and it's super easy to do. Yes, that's true, Jim. So let's talk about our contest. Every week we have a contest. For this last week, we had a contest and the purple won out, didn't it, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
This is for Kabasi Plus. And this Kabasi Plus is 55% cotton, 16 bamboo, 8 silk, and 21 elastic, 177 yards. This is a very sturdy yarn. I've used it for baby blankets, a lot of baby blankets, chevron baby blankets in different colors. And I think the one that I liked was the E-Space Trico one that is on Ravelry. But this is a fantastic yarn, and this is the winner for this week.
And it's on sale.
For this last week. Right. It's on sale right now. Right. For all of you who want to get a good deal on Kabasi, Kabasi's fantastic. Just remember, if you're using the sock weight Kabasi, use 2 skeins for most sizes of socks because it doesn't have a huge amount of yardage. And I had a customer ask me that question yesterday. So just in case you were wondering, 2 skeins of the regular Kabasi for a pair of socks. And on the prize for today, what I was thinking is we just got some more of this lovely worsted weight 100% baby alpaca from Plymouth Yarn Company. And I am going to be giving away 2 skeins. And you guys get to decide, do you want the light pink or this rosy darker color? And
give it a color so they can put it in. What are they going to type in?
I don't know. Let me see what they call this. I don't know what they call it. Dark? Light.
Dark purple, light purple?
It's not really purple. It's kind of mauve color, pinky mauve color, with a bit of gray. I don't know. It doesn't have a name.
Let's do dark pink and light pink.
Yes, and they're lovely soft. So if you wanted to do a hat or anything like that, I don't recommend doing fingerless mitts per se for your hands because I did that one time out of 100% baby alpaca. And it took me longer to knit them than it did for me to ruin them. So, I don't recommend it. If you're going to do mittens or gloves, pick something that is an alpaca blend so it holds up a little better. But that is great for hats. You know how much I love alpaca, baby alpaca for hats. My most favorite fabric for a hat is baby alpaca. So anyways, let's see. Was there anything else I needed to talk about? Oh, I was thinking for this next week, I was thinking I might go ahead and try and finish my the Andrea Mowry night shift shawl. And then I also wanted to work on, I still haven't done the crocheted slippers that Brittany and I have been working on. And so I am so excited to be able to work on that. So I want to play a little catch up and get caught up on some things, and we can talk about those. Yes, Jim?
We got more bamboo in.
Oh, nice. We got more bamboo in. Yes, sirree. Okay, so for any of you who have not tried the bamboo apparel, it's so funny. Okay, so Ruthie bought her set. She's so funny. She works here. And she was wearing her wonderful top and her leggings, and it was, you know how it is here in the Northwest. It can be sunny and 60 degrees and go right down to below freezing, all within a 2-day space, maybe morning to afternoon. They always say, if you don't like the weather here, wait for 5 minutes. And she was wearing her lovely bamboo, which allows you to be at least 3 degrees cooler. And she came into the office and it got freezing cold. And she's going, I'm so cold. I'm like, Ruthie, didn't I mention to you that those bamboo shirts and leggings keep you cool? And she said she was freezing. So be mindful of that when you're wearing your bamboo. You don't want to wear it when it gets really cold unless you have something nice to put over it because you will be cold.
But if it's warm, because it wicks.
But if it's warm, it's fantastic, and that's what it's for. It's for the summertime. So, or the winter time if you have stuff that you're wearing over the top of it. Yeah, so it's so totally fantastic. Also, if you guys are interested and you don't have a knit club or you don't have anyone that you can share stuff with, we have this wonderful VIP Facebook group, and it is we have such wonderful ladies there. They are sharing with each other all the time, helping each other, giving positive encouragement, and I am thankful to all of you who participate in that. it just helps people, pushes them to try a little harder. They get so excited about sharing their projects, and they do such a great job. It's a wonderful place if you like to share your knitting and or crochet projects, and it's free to sign up. In summary, our Entrechat was a great project to work on, and most of these things that we work on are fairly quick knits. And the home improvement, this pillow is beautiful, and you can take it off so that you can wash it. And this yarn it's gorgeous, so warm and so nice.
It's Kenzie, right?
Yes, it's Kenzie, yes. It's a worsted weight yarn, and it's really top quality.
They're asking what yarn you're wearing on your Entrechat.
This is the Sueno, and can you show them here, Jim?
Yeah.
It's all these different colors that you can choose from. I love this yarn. It has absolutely no itch. It's top quality. It's not your cheapest yarn that you can buy. It's like a middle of the road. It's not super, super expensive, but it is a little more expensive than some other yarns. But I feel like when you get a yarn that is going to hold up and it has that durability factor and no itch, you can actually use it and you get your money's worth. So if you think about that, it's great. Yes, Jim, that's right. Okay, so for our contest, you guys don't forget to vote. You're helping us choose the color for this next week's winner. And this is for the Baby Alpaca, 100% Baby Alpaca worsted weight yarn by Plymouth Yarn Company.
Lighter pink.
Great yarn. And you got to choose either the dark pink or the lighter pink. So you choose which ones you would like people to have for that. And then our winner for this last week was for the Kabasi Plus, and it is Amy Weber, right?
Amy Weber Sellers.
Amy Weber Sellers. And so what we need you to do, Amy, congratulations. You need to tell us your shipping address and get in touch with Alpaca Direct customer service, and you'll get a couple skeins of this Kabasi Plus. It's a great summertime yarn to use for, oh geez, you can make a baby sweater. You can make lots of things with it. You could even make yourself some cute little slippers or something that'd be nice in the summertime. So, sky's the limit. Yep, only limited by your imagination. Yeah, so you guys have a great week, and next week I'll talk about my finished night shift shawl, and we will also be talking about the wonderful crocheted slippers that we're working on, and yes, doing this pillow, knit-alongs are fantastic. It teaches you something. You always learn something on a knit-along. And so you guys have a great week, and share with each other and enjoy the lovely weather. And I'll talk to you next Tuesday at 9:30 a.m.